Please welcome the President of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Columbus, Ohio Mayor Andrew Ginther.
Good morning. It's great to see you all this morning. Another beautiful day here in Tampa. I think Mayor Castor must have a connection, all these beautiful days in Tampa. Please stand, if you are able, for the presentation of the colors by the Tampa Fire, Rescue, and Tampa Police.
Please welcome our national anthem singer, Eliana Coriano.
Oh, say, can you proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. And now for the invocation, Reverend Alan Harris.
Good morning. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, how thankful and grateful we are for this another day which you have allowed us to see. Father, we acknowledge that this is a day that we have never seen before, and it's a day that we'll never see again. So, Father, how our hearts are thankful for this opportunity to meet on this morning. And Father, we thank you for all those who are present, for all those who are on their way. Father, bless those who have come from near and far. And Father, we ask now, God, that as you have allowed us to gather in this place for this particular time, that you would give us a great time of information and interaction one with another. This is my prayer that I pray in my Lord's name, and let all those in agreement say, amen.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce the host of our 93rd annual meeting. Having hosted an annual meeting, I know how much work goes into creating a memorable experience for all of America's mayors that highlights the very best of our cities. I want to thank our next speaker and her host committee for a fabulous series of evening events and all that she has done for this meeting. Last night was pretty amazing, wasn't it? As both mayor and a former police chief, our host has been a strong leader with our organization. And I can tell you this, for those of you old enough to remember E.F. Hutton, when Jane Castor talks, mayors listen. Please join me in welcoming Tampa Mayor Jane Castor.
Good morning, my mayors. I want to start off with another round of applause for the young woman who sang the national anthem, Ileana. So she is from Blake High School, and we had a very unfortunate passing in our community, and it was one of my favorite people on earth. One of our council members died unexpectedly, and my last correspondence with her was a selfie of her and Ileana, and she said she has to sing the national anthem at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. So very, very special, and what a talented young woman. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, good morning, mayors, or at least I hope it's still morning, based on last night's Flo Rida concert. Some of you might have just gotten back to your hotel rooms. Woo! Now, I don't want to name names, but if your sunglasses are still on and you're double fisting a cold brew and a Gatorade, you're among friends. This is a judgment-free zone. And we've certainly all earned the right to let a little loose now and then. I may have let a little too loose last night. I had one of the vendors say, "Guess you're not running for re-election." So I was like, ooh, I didn't think it was that bad. But on behalf of our amazing city of Tampa, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this year's U.S. Conference of Mayors. I may say the best ever, but that's just my personal opinion. But I am so excited about showing you my hometown. Tonight, we'll be heading to historic Ybor City, and yes, it is Ybor City, it's not Ybor City, founded by immigrant cigar makers for our evening celebration. And it is going to be another celebration to remember. We'll have dancers and DJs and more delicious food, and yes, more drinks. And tomorrow night, we're having a riverfront cookout with grilled oysters, burgers, a beer garden, and an island country music concert. So we have got it going on here in our city. Hosting this conference is really a full circle moment for me. As someone who spent decades in law enforcement and as a police chief, now mayor of my hometown, I know that no one really understands this job like a room full of people who are actually doing it. The challenges we face, housing, public safety, infrastructure, equity, they are not partisan, they are personal. They live on our blocks, ride our buses, show up at our city council meetings, and flood our inboxes every day. And I know many of you in this room are facing intense pressure. Some newly elected, and some of us are battle-worn. Each of us has arrived here through different paths, whether it's through the city council chamber, protest lines, boardrooms, or even classrooms. But what unites us is that we carry the hopes of our residents on our shoulders. You're leading in a time when national unity can feel a bit fractured, to say the least. At a time when trust in national institutions is shaky, mayors continue to deliver every single day. We pave the roads, we protect the neighborhoods, we light the streets, and maybe cut a ribbon or two at that new dog park or local restaurant. Local government isn't just the closest to the people. We are the people. You, your staff, every person serving your city every day. Our work impacts our own lives, our families, and our neighbors, as we heard yesterday in the mayor's only session. And that's what makes this gathering so important. It's about trading stories that can help your community, walking away with a little more inspiration and maybe even one less headache if someone has a solution to your problem. Here in Tampa, we have seen the impact of local leadership. We've lowered crime while building trust in our community. We've invested in infrastructure that doesn't just serve today, but is going to protect our community for decades to come. We've welcomed innovation and made sure the benefits reach every zip code in our city. And none of that happens without collaboration, creativity, and yes, sometimes compromise. This week, I hope you talk about the hard stuff, not just sound bites, but with honesty and urgency. We don't have time to wait. Our communities are counting on each of us. The future of our country is being built in your city halls, your neighborhoods, and through your leadership. And right now, it starts here in Tampa. So thank you for the honor of hosting this year's annual meeting in our wonderful city, and thank you for showing up for your cities every day, even when it's not easy. Again, welcome to Tampa, and welcome to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. This is going to be the best conference ever, so let's get to work. Take care.
Jane Castor is unstoppable. Thank you, Jane, and to your entire team. We're thrilled to be here, and thanks for all your work and contributions and leadership to the conference. I want to thank the following Business Council members for providing sponsorship support for this meeting: Cisco Systems, Citi, Communities United for Smart Policy, Deloitte, Edison Electric Institute, HDR, Honeywell, June, Mars Pet Care, the National Apartment Association, Peregrine, Siemens USA, the John A. Hartford Foundation, UL Standards and Engagement, and our title sponsor, Viola. Thank you for your participation and help in making this meeting a success. Artificial intelligence is rapidly changing our world, and city governments are no exception. Our next panel will focus on how city leaders are transforming city services, strengthening local economies, and helping people thrive with opportunities enabled by this new transformative technology. Please welcome to the stage Chattanooga Mayor Tim Kelly, Google's Charles Elliott, and Mountain View Mayor Ellen Kamai.
Innovation is deeply ingrained in the spirit of America. This country was built by doers, risk-takers, pioneers. And technology has always helped America push ahead and break new ground. Google started as a search engine, but over the decades, it's also become an engine of growth for millions of Americans. Today, Americans are moving forward in new ways with the help of Google's AI technology, like helping thousands of startups from aerospace to agriculture, building cyber defense programs with the Department of Defense to keep our vital systems secure, and accelerating new scientific discoveries and cancer research. Through partnership and the power of AI, we're helping drive a new era of American innovation. Spirit of America. America. This country was built by
Well, good morning. I'm Tim Kelly, Mayor of Chattanooga. Many of you may be familiar with the story of our city's early strategic investments in technology. Our municipal broadband network, which is city-owned, EPB, has really helped transform our economy in Chattanooga with super-fast internet and now quantum research. But today, of course, we're on the cusp of another transformation, this one driven by artificial intelligence. It's fast-moving, as you all know, and it's a topic surrounded by a lot of hype, but our goal for the next 15 minutes is going to be to ground this conversation in the realities of governing, which we all know. So, you're all probably wondering, how can we use AI to help us fill potholes, to improve public safety, and create real economic prosperity for all of our communities? And how can it help us govern better? So to help us answer that, we have two excellent panelists, Charles Elliott from Google, who's at the forefront of applying generative AI, and Mayor Ellen Kamay, who leads Mountain View, California, which happens to be Google's hometown and really ground zero for the AI revolution. So Charles, we'll start with you. Mayors like me and Ellen and across this country are dealing with budgets and infrastructure and public safety every day. So beyond the headlines, what are some of the most significant opportunities that AI, and specifically generative AI, offer city governments right now to make their work more efficient and productive?
That's a great question. I think what we've been discovering over the years, and it feels like obviously the AI movement as of right now is just moving so fast, but and even saying the word years feels a little bit weird. But we've been sort of discovering new use cases. Now, Google's had a long history of using AI across different products, and I oftentimes have to remind myself, whether I'm in Google Maps or using Google Translate when I'm traveling abroad, AI is just sort of everywhere. We just, again, don't often think of it. But with this new generative AI, we're finding, I think, just new opportunities, everything from document processing and transcribing documents, all the way to looking at building plans. There's been a number of what we call bets at Google over the years. One in particular that I'm super excited about is something called Greenlight. And again, these types of projects and initiatives allow us to tap into the ecosystem that Google has, whether that's Google Maps, Google Earth, and really overlay this generative technology to help state, local agencies and businesses and things like that. So we're really excited about bringing that to consumers and state and local government. In addition to that, we're also seeing a lot of positive, I think, response in education. So understanding how skills and workforce development will evolve using the technology. So we're really excited to see it kind of, again, transform the way we're thinking about, a lot of existing technology. And we're excited about bringing it to folks across the U.S.
It's fantastic. So Mayor Kamay, building on that, you and I, of course, live this every day. How do you see this opportunity translating from a tech concept into a tangible benefit for your residents in Mountain View? And what does that feel like on the ground?
Great. Thanks so much, Mayor. So I'll start with what it feels like on the ground. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the city of Mountain View, we're nestled in the heart of Silicon Valley. Don't tell Mayor Klein of Sunnyvale. I know he's here. But between San Francisco and San Jose. And over the last couple years, they've both been vying to be the AI capital of our country. So we are in it. And California recently was named the 4th largest economy. And last year, we saw over 50 bills on AI come forward. And those were related to transparency, data privacy, deepfakes, education, healthcare, and employment. So when we talk about being in it, where our city of Mountain View is in it. And we've been trying to think about, in terms of taking it from a tech concept to a tangible benefit, how we can make it easier for our residents to access services and to make them more efficient. So more than a year ago, in March of 2024, our city joined other government agencies and joined the Gov AI Coalition's open letter, supporting their mission to promote responsible and purposeful artificial intelligence in the public sector. And that coalition is over 300 local, state, and federal government agencies who are supporting this. And as we're looking forward today, we're trying to figure out how AI-enabled services can make a positive impact on residents while also understanding the potential pitfalls on how it can be used. So we're putting forward our City of Mountain View AI appropriate use policy. That way it's transparent for both our residents as well as our city staff to understand how we use AI to make purchases, configure, utilize, and support the AI systems that people are using every day. We also have an AI advisory group to support and promote our city's use of AI. In our community, we are a community for all. Over 40% of our residents are immigrants. So with this in mind, we're trying to explore ways that people can access information on our city website, documents, on how to use this.
Yeah, that's great. Well, beyond all those wonderful, great jobs at Google that support your local economy, how does this technology tangibly strengthen the local economy in Mountain View? I mean, are you seeing small businesses take advantage of it and prosper? Are you seeing new opportunities because of the ecosystem that's evolving? And how do you see the city's role in fostering that?
Yeah, we definitely see ourselves as a convener. We're fortunate in our city to be in this tech ecosystem that I mentioned, and we know that over 98% of our small business are already utilizing AI. So when we're thinking about not only the jobs that Google's creating, we're thinking about how we're training the workforce and preparing for upcoming events. And I know one of the things we'll be discussing is FIFA World Cup and related to cybersecurity. So we have been thinking about how do we train people to be able to take that on. And really exciting, hopefully Charles doesn't mind, but a sneak preview for all of our mayors is that today Google and the US Conference of Mayors will be putting forward a free resource guide for cities and municipal leaders to fully understand how we can strengthen our economy and workforce.
Well, that's fantastic news. So Charles, to you, for a city that isn't lucky enough to have a major tech headquarters, what are some accessible, scalable AI tools that can help us strengthen our local economies? I mean, where does a mayor from a mid-sized city or a smaller city start if they want to use AI to boost local business and prepare their workforce for the future?
Well, we're seeing a lot of enablement activity, everything from workshops, so local municipalities focusing on certain types of businesses and services. We're, of course, working directly with a lot of small business to make sure that the types of services that they offer are more accessible or understood by the constituents or citizens. And so, again, we're seeing, I would say, across our products, a way to sort of enhance and simplify a lot of the things that go into building a business and making it, discoverable within a city or a set of cities. And I think, again, working with state and local government, what we're finding is a similar sort of activity. How do I apply for things like permits or grants or other types of services and work more closely with state and local government? And so we're really excited, again, about the opportunity that this creates and presents. I'd say, additionally, again, it's the skilling and upskilling of those workers as well. Many of them don't know that a lot of these tools are very approachable and can benefit them immediately. So a lot of our products, from YouTube to Google Ads and business postings, all of those types of services have now benefited from this type of technology.
Okay. Well, to both of you, I mean, we've got some time left, 5 minutes or so. So I want to end on an actionable note, something that we can all take home with us. I mean, for the mayors here today who are inspired, as many mayors I talk to are, but unsure where to begin, what's one or maybe two practical, low-cost first steps you would recommend they take when they get back home to start exploring the potential for AI in their cities?
Yeah, well, I think probably the first thing to say is that there's a lot of free AI tools out there. So I want to be, really careful and sort of saying starting free is the best. Obviously, we'd recommend, being very careful about what kind of information you give to any AI system. But obviously, if you're comfortable, the terms and things like that are appropriate for the use of the AI tool. We recommend experimentation. Come with a use case. A lot of folks that we work with, even folks in my family, are just sort of approaching it like another search box. And I don't know that that's always the right way to approach it. As I said earlier, it's great at things like pothole detection and processing documents. So I think approaching it with the use case is far more helpful. And then I would look at, how might it help you in your day-to-day? So synthesis of information is obviously something that many of these tools are very good at, and understanding whether it's, transcribing certain types of documents or files, all the way to helping you plan your day. I think there's some really kind of easy ways to get started And then I would say lastly, just think about all the other surfaces that this AI can exist on. I mentioned maps earlier. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to check out maps recently, but we've done a lot of work there too to help sort of enhance the aperture, or widen the aperture, if you will, of the search experience, even within places like maps. So think about, whether it's a website that you're currently hosting, how those types of AI tools might be able to help citizens connect with local government better, or maybe even, again, simplifying some of the documentation that's out there. These are really great ways to get started. But yeah, we're really excited about the opportunity.
Any thoughts, Mayor Kamei?
Yeah, I think all of us are having more issues with limited resources, and I would say AI is a tool that we can use to bring forward initiatives in a way that's budget conscious. So I know one of the things that we've done in the city of Mountain View is we've moved to a complete e-permitting system. And the other thing we've been trying to use is an AI tool where every permit needs to be processed by a member of our staff. So things that may be, not a conditional use permit or others, it filters for that, and it's one less thing of workload for staff. So it's bringing efficiency in terms of staff time, but it's also, I think, strengthening our local economy, which was part of the other question, getting that development going, being able to help that small business that wants to open in your community. So I think there's lots of different ways that AI can touch your city and make it more efficient. And I think that for our residents is a really great example for them to be able to use. I would say another low-cost, free way to think about AI in your community is how can your city foster an AI economy? So one of the things that the city of Mountain View has been working on doing is kind of leaning into our role as a potential convener and a facilitator. For the last, I think, almost decade, we've been hosting an annual technology showcase. This is in partnership with our Mountain View Chamber of Commerce. And each year there's a different theme. Go figure. This year's theme is the future of work, so AI and the workforce. And this panel that we are sponsoring is bringing together leaders from higher education, private sector, nonprofit organizations, and the policy arena for discussions on how AI is transforming the workplace and what it means for the workforce and how companies and educators can prepare for what's next. What we're seeing in the Silicon Valley is that people are not necessarily going, particularly to our community colleges, just to get that 2-year degree and move on to a 4-year university. They may be taking that 2-year degree and going directly into the workforce. So how are we thinking about AI there? And by facilitating these types of conversations, your city can help foster the collaborations, identify the shared challenges, and support an inclusive economy and workforce preparement. AI is here, it's here to stay. I think what's been so wonderful about Google is that public-private partnership that we've been able to create. I'm just gonna offer Charles that if you have any questions, being able to go to him. Yeah. They have an incubator that is looking for direct feedback from mayors, from cities, on the different startups that they're working on before they graduate. We're very fortunate to have something, autonomous vehicles are very prevalent in the city of Mountain View. So things like Waymo or drone delivery like Wing have all graduated out of Google, and we're very fortunate.
Well, thank you both. Just from my perspective, we're a Google shop as well, and for those of you that may not have seen it, Notebook LM is a really transformative tool internally. You guys, every mayor in this room knows you get dumped these large documents on your desk that you don't have time to read, and this thing will ingest it and give you a summary. You can ask it questions. You can turn it into a podcast and listen to it on a drive. Huge productivity gains that we're already seeing in Chattanooga from that. So thank you very much. I think we can all agree that innovation should serve all of our residents, not just a select few. And this is a really exciting, but also pivotal, crucial time in our cities. And AI can help us address disparities and access to resources and create more equitable systems. But as mayors, we have to see to that. It's our responsibility, frankly, to ensure that AI is deployed in ways that serve the public interest, that respect privacy, that protect vulnerable communities, and avoid reinforcing systemic biases. So you guys have given us a great, clear view of not just the what, but the how and the why. So thank you very much. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for a great panel. I know I learned a lot, and I really appreciate all the information and resources. Our next guest is the Director of External Affairs and Affiliate Engagement to support national apartment affiliates and local governments across the country in addressing the housing shortage and leading the way home. She's also a former CEO and mayor of the town of East Haven, Connecticut. Please join me in welcoming April Capone to the stage. April?
We house the nearly 40 million Americans living in rental housing. We are balancing the business of housing and the humanity of home. We are the drivers behind building and maintaining more housing, expanding accessible, affordable options for more Americans.
Good morning, fellow mayors. It is great to be here with you in Tampa. My name is April Capone, and I am the Director of External Affairs and Affiliate Engagement with the National Apartment Association. And as Mayor Ginther kindly said, I'm the former full-time mayor of the town of East Haven, Connecticut, my hometown. As you just saw, NAA serves as a leading voice for our nation's housing providers and is committed to serving a vast network of 141 state and local affiliate partners, over 95,000 members, and more than 12.5 million apartment homes nationwide, including those in your community. Simply put, our members are balancing the business of housing with the humanity of home, and that mission has never been more important than it is today. NAA is a proud sponsor of this year's annual meeting and is thankful for the opportunity to network and collaborate with all of you on real, actionable housing solutions. As I know you're all well aware, our nation continues to face an alarming housing crisis. Elevated costs, a historic shortage of housing, and increased demand for renting all fuel a supply and demand imbalance that exacerbates housing affordability and accessibility challenges across the board. In fact, our country needs to build a whopping 4.3 million more apartment homes by 2035 just to meet the demand and ease the crisis. Nationally, NAA is hard at work advocating for policies that help lower cost, boost supply, and improve housing affordability long term. And while we're working to make a difference in Washington, I know from my own time as mayor that these housing challenges aren't one size fits all. Every one of our communities feels the impacts of the housing crisis differently, and every one of our communities deserves local housing policy change in a unique way. Housing is without a doubt one of the defining issues of our time, and as mayor, you and your fellow local officials are best suited to make real, lasting difference for your constituents by championing housing policies that best fit your community. And as you work to make a difference in housing, NAA, our members, and our network of state and local affiliate partners are eager to be part of the solution in your area. And here are some helpful resources for you. Oh, there they are. First, NAA's research provides timely insights on housing market trends. For example, our apartment demand research is broken down by state and city and is publicly available at weareapartments.org. This important data provides timely insights into your community's rental housing market and supply needs. This website also features in-depth policy pages providing a deeper dive into real solutions and frameworks that your communities can consider implementing. On your table, you'll find cards for some of our research on state pro-housing designations. You can read the full report by scanning the QR code. Finally, NAA's network of state and local affiliate partners stands ready to help, and each have firsthand knowledge of the local dynamics and unique challenges facing the rental housing community industry in your community. To find your area's state or local affiliate, along with all of these resources and so much more, please visit us at www.naahq.org. Thank you for your time today. Thank you again to Mayor Ginther and the conference. I look forward to continuing the conversation on how we can all pursue sustainable and responsible solutions to ease our nation's housing crisis long term. Please seek me out at this conference. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your conference.
Please welcome CEO and Executive Director of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Tom Cochran.
Good morning, everyone. What a year. We met in Kansas City, and we really didn't know what to expect, but we did the best we could. We went to the Democratic Convention. We raised our voices for housing. We went to the Republican Convention. We did the same. And then we came to the fall, and we went to 3 states, 3 swing states. We went to Phoenix, we went to Detroit City, and we went to Philadelphia, pushing hard for housing and pushing hard for what we needed in the year 2024. And then we had the election, and we came to Washington in January really not knowing what to expect. And then we went to Phoenix for our leadership meeting, and we were somewhat confused, somewhat sad, and even some were crying, not knowing what to do. But while we were in Phoenix, Mayor Brian Barnett raised his hand. He said, "We've got to do something about tariffs. They're hurting my people." And so we went to Washington, and Mayor Ginther and I met with the economic minister of Mexico and our friends from Canada. And we said, let's bring our brothers and sisters together. Let's bring them from Mexico. Let's bring them from Canada. And let's bring them from the United States of America. And so we had our trade summit in Washington, D.C. And we articulated, we had the mayor of Toronto there, the 4th largest city in North America. They came, and we united a band of brothers and sisters and agreed that we must stand firm. And so we also went to Canada. We heard the Prime Minister Carney say, "I've got $25 billion. I'm going to build 500,000 houses in Canada." And we were so pleased to have our delegation, Mayor Cantrell, Mayor Barnett, and Mayor Ginther, on the stage with the Canadian mayors. So the question is, will this government of ours undo the civil rights that I, as a young man, and so many of us fought for? Will they remove sexual tolerance that we have stood for? And will they remove the environmental protection to save this earth? And other themes that's called for when they say diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't think so. I don't think so, because of you and the way mayors stand together. The fact of the matter is the governors are divided. The counties have rural counties and urban counties. The National League of Cities has city council and mayors. But what we have with you go to Shakespeare, you go to Henry V. We have a band of brothers and sisters that will stand together. And as one great person that I had the opportunity to meet in a noble way, his name was Nelson Mandela. And he said, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in every time you fall, you rise not to fall again. So we this year have had a great leader. His name is Andy Ginther. I have served 56 presidents. And I'm not going to tell you which my favorite one is because a lot of you are out there. But let me just say this. He is compassionate, he is kind, and he wakes up every morning and he asks me, how are things going? Are you having a good day? I say, well, Karen is getting her ass kicked in LA. We got to stand up for her. You got this one over here. And he doesn't say, let's pray. He calls people. He cares about people. He is a compassionate person. And he is the best of the best. Thank you. Let's watch the video.
America's great story has begun a new chapter. There is no strong America without strong cities. We rise or fall together.
Andy is the consummate statesman. He is such a presence. He is such a leader. Just being around him makes you want to follow him.
Andy is a empathetic but bold leader. He has an uncanny ability to bring people together in a very honest and intentional way.
Well, I'm an Ohioan. When I met Andy, I immediately thought, this guy is a really great leader. He was so warm and welcoming, and it was no surprise to me when he ascended to the presidency of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. He's done an outstanding job.
Under Andy Ginther's presidency, the U.S. Conference of Mayors has been laser focused on the biggest issue in America right now, which is housing affordability.
We really wanted to continue to highlight what we're hearing from mayors all over America, and that is housing is not an issue, it is the issue. One of the great experiences of the past year was going to Phoenix, Philadelphia, and Detroit, seeing the pride and joy that Mayor Parker, Mayor Gallego, and Mayor Duggan had in showing off their city and showing some incredible examples of public-private partnerships to increase housing that made a difference for families, for kids, for seniors.
Housing affordability is something that we've been working on in our state, and I think it's a global problem, and I commend our president, Andy Ginther, for taking that topic on.
And his prioritization of housing is something that is affecting every member of the conference, from the smallest city to the largest city.
That's why we must forge ahead with a renewed commitment to addressing the housing crisis in America, investing in American infrastructure, keeping our communities safe, reducing the risks of climate change, and giving every person a chance to live a life of dignity and opportunity.
A group of Canadian mayors and other municipal officials are in Washington today. They're there for a trade summit. They've been meeting with some of their American and Mexican counterparts to talk about the economic threat posed by the Trump tariffs.
We've just completed an unprecedented summit of North American mayors focused on an issue of importance to all of our cities right now. That is trade between our three nations. When it comes to trade, what is good for Columbus is not bad for Toronto. What is good for Ottawa is not bad for Ensenada. Trade benefits us all. Well, as local leaders, numbers are important, but people are most important. They need us on their side. And that's why it's so important for us to figure out a long-term, stable, fair and productive relationship between the United States and Canada, and mayors are going to help lead the way. That was one of the most rewarding experiences, seeing the great work that our mayors are doing in all different parts of the country and working across party lines to get it done.
What I really appreciate about Mayor Ginther being president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors this year is that he's able to work with people on both sides of the aisle to elevate the issues that impact us.
We remain a pretty divided, polarized country, and so the role of mayors to communicate, to convene, to bring people together, to solve problems based on data and evidence as opposed to ideology and dogma is probably going to be more important now and in the future than ever before.
He's one of those people who can engage with all parties, and we're made up with Democrats, Republicans, independents.
This is the last bipartisan group left in America.
He has been so focused on bipartisanship. Mayors, we have to get things done, and he's made sure we kept that focus.
So I think there are great opportunities for partnership in the days, weeks, and months ahead. American mayors are always ready to get to work. New buildings are rising, crime is falling, optimism pulses through our cities. And so I couldn't be more optimistic about the future of this country if mayors continue to lead. And I'm really proud of the incredible mayors of the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
I'm so proud of him, not just leading as the biggest city in our state, but also leading nationally.
I'm going to miss him as being president, but I'm still looking forward to our partnership and our relationship that we have as Ohio Mayors Alliance. And I know that often if I need a question answered, if Andy can't answer it, is no answer out there.
America's mayors are united behind a message that we must build more housing in order to bring down costs for Americans, and that is because Andy's chosen to make it a priority, and I thank you, Andy, for doing that.
I think he's been a wonderful, sound, and steady leader, and that's saying a lot for a guy from Ohio, being a guy from Michigan.
You have such a great passion for Columbus, but you also have such a great passion for America's cities and for your fellow mayors. And you're a great friend to all of us.
You'll be handing the gavel to Mayor Holt. Do you feel like you're leaving the organization in good hands?
Excellent hands. He's far smarter, funnier, and better looking. It has really been an honor of a lifetime for me able to serve them as their president.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 83rd President of the United States Conference of Mayors, Andy Ginther.
Thank I-O-O-H. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and guests, fellow mayors and city leaders, it's a privilege to speak with you. I'm pleased to be able to share some updates and reflections on the progress of this organization as we strive to make our cities the very best places for people to call home. I'd like to speak most directly, if I may, to my fellow mayors, to whom I owe an incredible debt of gratitude. I speak to you today as my term as the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors nears its end. I want to thank you for the incredible honor it has been serving as your president for the last 12 months. I thank you for the trust you placed in me to be a steward of an organization that all of us hold so dear. I had great reverence for this body before, but it has been remarkable to be able to work with so many of you through this role, to be able to talk with so many of our mayors, to visit their cities and see how they're solving problems, to feel the bond that propels us confidently toward big challenges. Show me an organization anywhere that embodies the spirit of public service more than this one. It's an organization devoted to servant leadership and to doing what is good and right without regard to the politics or the partisanship that too often suffocates progress. Sometimes in our darkest hours or our most challenging moments, that we are reminded of the power and connection of this conference. When one city is in crisis, we are all there to stand by and lift up that city and that mayor. When one mayor is under attack, we all have their back. At the same time, while the challenges that confront each of our cities have their own unique circumstances, there's comfort and reassurance being part of meetings like this because we are reminded that we are not alone. We all face similar struggles, and it's through the power of friendship and collaboration that we bring forward the best solutions. There's a wealth of leadership and talent that will continue to guide this organization. I want to recognize and thank our two conference vice presidents that have served alongside me, Mayor David Holt of Oklahoma City and Mayor Todd Gloria of San Diego. They have been tremendous partners and inspire so much confidence in the future of the Conference of Mayors. Thank you both. I also want to thank CEO and Executive Director Tom Cochran, who has been a friend and mentor and a person every one of us would want to have in our corner. He loves cities and this conference. We would be nowhere without his years of service. Thank you, Tom. They're not here yet, but I also want to thank my wife and daughter. As you can imagine, I've been on the road a little bit more than normal. I also want to thank the people of Columbus for their patience in sharing me with this conference. It's so fitting that our theme this week is a celebration of America's cities. We have so much to be proud of. Look, we've been tested, and we will continue to be, but we have persevered. We have overcome. The story of American cities is an inspiring one. In American cities, opportunity is way up and crime is way down. There's a vitality in American cities that you, mayors, help create. As our new report on metro economies details, metro areas of American cities account for close to 91% of all economic activity in this country, and we're home to 92% of wages and salaries. Region by region, American cities are seeing low unemployment and rising wages. It's a story we should all be proud of. Much of it, of course, is tied to the legislative successes of the Conference of Mayors. The investments made possible by laws like the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the CHIPS and Science Act have ignited a new era of construction, growth, and innovation. Public-private partnerships accelerated this progress, and the commitment of American mayors to public safety has made all of our cities better places to live, raise a family, start a business, and find your American dream. But as we celebrate our cities and the incredible progress, we're not blind to the real and significant problems that still require our attention. We do not ignore these challenges. We run at them head on together. One of the things I'm most proud of over the last year is how this conference, how America's mayors, have helped drive a national conversation about the housing crisis that still plagues our country. Talk about a problem that knows no party labels and touches every single person, no matter their economic status. The number of people in this country who cannot find or afford suitable housing is a disgrace, and we cannot tolerate it. There's not a city represented here for which affordability and access to housing is not a primary concern. And that's why cities everywhere are devoting resources and rewriting the rules to enable more building and drive down costs. Last fall, I had the opportunity to lead a 3-city tour focused on housing solutions. In Phoenix, Philadelphia, and Detroit, I, along with other mayors, witnessed and highlighted innovative programs that Mayors Gallego, Parker, and Duggan have put in place to get more people into affordable and quality housing. But mayors cannot do this alone. It took decades of federal mismanagement and underinvestment to get us here, and we need every level of government involved in fixing it. That's why we went to Capitol Hill multiple times this year to meet with congressional members on both sides of the aisle and to fight for a host of reforms and investments that are sorely needed at the federal level. There's still a great deal of work to do, but we have ignited a national awareness to this challenge that I know will lead to real reforms. I'm also incredibly proud of the role this conference played and continues to play in championing the economic relationship between America, Canada, and Mexico. We hosted a trilateral trade summit in Washington with mayors from all three countries to speak with one voice against the threat of tariffs that serve to drive up costs for families and cities alike. This is the first time in the history of the conference that such a meeting between mayors from all three countries has taken place. We will continue to be a voice for free and fair trade among our North American allies. And I'm so pleased that we had mayors here from Canada with us this week. The Conference of Mayors has a proud tradition of partnering with local leaders in other countries and setting the tone on the world stage, whether it's driving climate solutions or standing up for democracy. I'm particularly proud of the way this conference has stood clearly and without equivocation in support of our friends in Ukraine. Last month, I was fortunate to meet with a number of Ukrainian mayors in Warsaw, Poland. There, I signed a joint declaration with the Ukrainian mayors reaffirming the conference's full and enduring support for Ukraine. And at this meeting, we will once again state that our policy is to support the Ukrainian people who have been so unjustly attacked. We cannot, of course, ignore the enforcement action on immigration taking place right now that have shaken many of our communities. One thing that we've been very clear about is this: mayors, more than anyone, want to remove dangerous and violent criminals from our cities, and we know best how to keep our cities safe. Law enforcement in cities is a local authority, and under the leadership of the mayors in this room, crime in America is plummeting. The evidence is in the numbers. We should be proud of that. Some have speculated this year could bring the lowest murder rate in U.S. history. And it's because of mayors and our great police officers and the trust that we're building in communities that are making them safer all over this great country. That progress is the result of putting in place smarter policing strategies and making meaningful investments in our forces. It is one of the most important and often overlooked stories of this moment. We need to keep telling our story. The Conference of Mayors will always be known for shaping the debate and legislation in Washington. As we meet, senators are still working through a major legislative package. There's some things we like, a lot we don't, but we succeeded in fending off some of the most serious threats, at least at this point in the process, including changes to municipal bonds. But the fight goes on. We remain at risk of cuts to housing programs and others we value, and tariffs will continue to threaten our budgets and our ability to build. This conference will remain engaged as we always are. And with a new president in the White House, we will continue to be an organization that puts making progress ahead of party affiliations or politics. We organized delegations of mayors and traveled to Washington, D.C., and advocated on behalf of our cities. One of our initiatives this year was to encourage and strengthen state mayoral alliances. Without question, the actions of governors and state legislatures can greatly impact our cities, especially in these controversial times. State alliances give purpose and structure to what was once our informal collaboration. They have yielded results and strengthened our relationship with our governors and legislature. As a conference, we want to strengthen these mayoral state alliances to prepare for the future. You know, one of the most difficult moments we faced this past year was the passing of former President Carter. I had the privilege of attending services for President Carter on behalf of America's mayors. It was very personal for me. I interned for President Carter at the Carter Center in the summers of '95 and '96 in Atlanta. We all have reflections on his legacy. He was a great champion of American cities. But one thing you cannot overlook is his devotion to public service and doing right by people. It's in moments like that, the passing of a great man, that you pause to think about service and leadership, about what you can do to make people's lives better. And I will tell you, I cannot think of a better place in America right now to do good and make a difference than as a mayor and as a member of the United States Conference of Mayors. May we always be driven by servant leadership and a single-minded devotion to improving the lives of the people we serve. I have seen that spirit in the body of this organization as its president, and I know we will continue to drive our work. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me the honor to serve as your president. Thank you for an incredible year. I look forward to working with Vice President Holt and soon to be Vice President Gloria, with you and our new leadership team to build on this great progress. God bless you. Let's make it a great day.
Our meeting stands adjourned.